Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to change the player character mesh from a mannequin to Paragon Kwang. We are going to start out by swapping the mesh from the character blueprint, then we will go over how to retarget our existing animations so that we can use the same animations on the new character model. So let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is create an asset called an IK rig. You can do a lot of really interesting things with an IK rig. If you are interested in what you can do with an IK rig, you can check the UE5 documentation. In this video, however, we are going to be focusing on how we can use the IK rig for retargeting purposes. Okay, so go ahead and right click, and under animation we need to select IK rig. And the skeletal mesh we need is going to be Kwang_GDC. Let's name it Kwang_IK rig. Okay, open it up. Once you open your new IK rig, you will see a menu with the character mesh in a pose, usually a T pose or an A pose. As you can see, Kwang has an A pose. And here on the side, we have the bone hierarchy. This is the hierarchy of bones that the character has. The way retargeting works in Unreal Engine 5 is that you need to create different chains of joints. For example, an arm chain might include upper arm, lower arm, and hand. Let's open the UE5 mannequin IK rig that came with the default third-person template and look at the bone chains included by Epic. So to find that, let's just go to content here and let's search for IK rig. It would be the IK_mannequin. And here you can see all the bone chains that are set up with this character mesh. This is the left arm bone chain. As you can see, all the bones included in this chain are highlighted in green. And you can see it has a start bone and an end bone. For the left arm, the start bone is upper arm L, and the end bone is hand L. So it goes from upper arm L to hand L. And so you need these various chains in order to retarget. You may have noticed that there are quite a few bone chains here, but we don't need to create all of these bone chains for our Kwang rig. We only need to add the bones required for the animation to work properly. When making the required bone chains for our Kwang IK rig, we need to make sure we include the same bones and use the same naming conventions for the bone chains we create. It's not required to use the same naming conventions, but if you do, it makes the process quicker because the retargeting system will automatically know how to match the bone chains up if we use the same naming conventions for both. So now we need to create all the necessary bone chains in the Kwang IK rig. I'm going to be using the UE5 mannequin IK rig as a reference and create the same bone chains with the same naming conventions. You don't need to reference the UE5 mannequin IK rig. Just follow along as I create the bone chains so that you only have to create the required bone chains. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is set the retarget root. And the retarget root should be the pelvis, so we can set retarget root on the pelvis. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a new bone chain. We can call this one spine. Okay, the start bone for this one will be spine 1. And the end bone will be spine 3. Let's go ahead and add another new chain. This one will be left arm. This one will go from upper arm L to hand L. Okay, let's add another one. This one will be the left index. And this one will go from index 1 to index 3. This one will be left middle. This one will go from middle 1L to middle 3L. Okay, add a new chain. This will be left pinky. Okay, this one will go from pinky 1 to pinky 3. Let's add another one. This will be left thumb. And left thumb will go from thumb 1L to thumb 3L. Okay, let's add a new one. Okay, and this one will be the right arm. And this one will go from upper arm _R to hand_R. Okay, add another one. This will be right index. Okay, this will be index 1R to index 3R. This will be right middle. So we'll go from middle 1R to middle 3R. Okay, add another one. Okay, this will be right pinky. Let's search for pinky, pinky 1R to pinky 3R. Okay, add another one. Right ring. This will be ring 1R to ring 3R. Okay, now let's do right thumb. This will be thumb 1R to thumb 3R. Okay, now let's do left leg. And that one will be thigh underscore L to ball underscore L. Okay, let's add another one. This will be right leg. This one will go from thigh underscore R to ball underscore R. Okay, add another one. And this one will be left clavicle. We need clavicle underscore L and clavicle underscore L. Okay, this one will be right clavicle. This will be clavicle underscore R for both of them. Okay, now add the head. And this one will be neck 01, and it'll go to head. Okay, add a new bone chain. And this one will be root. And the bone for this one will be root. Okay, that should be all the bone chains that we need. Okay, so now both characters have an IK rig set up. So now if you want the mannequin's animations to transfer to Quang, you need to use an asset called an IK retargeter. So let's go ahead and browse to the location of the IK mannequin. And so what we need to do is we need to change the target IK rig asset. Let's change that to Quang. Okay, so as you can see, we have both characters here in a pose. They're both in an A pose. You can also change their pose and put the characters into a T pose. You want to make sure that both characters have the same pose, because if they don't have the same pose, then you may not get the results that you expect when retargeting the animations. But anyway, as you can see here, we have our target chain. And as you can see, the target chain and the source chain all match up. This was automatically done for us because we had the same naming conventions. So that made things much quicker. But if you don't have the same naming conventions, you can always just select here and then select which one that you want to use from the source chain. But if for some reason you didn't use the same naming conventions on one of your IK rigs, you can just select it here manually. But this was already done for us, so that's good. And so now what we can do is let's just browse through some animations and let's see how it looks. So I am having some issues, it looks like. It's for the most part retargeting pretty well, but the character's hand seems to be having some issues there. Check some other animations. Yes, it seems like there are some issues with the hand. Let's see. Maybe we made some mistake for his left pinky and left ring finger. Oh yes, I did make some mistakes here. I accidentally selected ring for the pinky. This should be pinky 3. So from pinky 1 to pinky 3, what about the ring? Oh, it seems I forgot to create the left ring. Okay, so I forgot to create the left ring finger. Let's go ahead and create that. Ring 1L to ring 3L. There we go. Go ahead and save, and let's go back and let's clear this out. And let's select Quang again. Okay. Now let's see if that's fixed. Okay. So that issue is now fixed. The animations do appear to be working now. Okay, and so one thing we want to make sure that we do is we select the root, and we need to set the translation mode to globally scaled. Okay, now we can start retargeting the animations that we're going to need. Okay, so let's retarget our light attack animations. However, do not retarget the animation assets. You can see the animation assets are the one with the green icon. We want to retarget the montages, the one with the blue icon. And it also has underscore montage in the name. And so let's go ahead and retarget all three. And the reason why we want to retarget the montages instead of the animation assets is because retargeting the montages will take the animation notifies along with it. So that way we don't have to create another montage and then set up the animation notifies again. The animation notifies and the montage will automatically be set up for us because it will be retargeted from the source that we already set up before. So I have the montages selected here, and let's go ahead and export selected animations, and let's go to Paragon Quang, characters. Okay, so this folder structure keeps going. It actually goes on quite long. It goes Paragon Quang, character, heroes, Quang, animations, and then finally this is your animation folder. But I don't like that. I think that's too many subfolders, so let's just go ahead and create a new folder here in Paragon Quang, and we'll call this one animations. Okay, and then right click on the animations and let's select new folder, and this will be Light Sword. Okay, and then right click on that one and let's create another new folder, and this will be Light Attack. Okay, now we will retarget in that folder. Okay, as you can see, all the assets were created for us. And whenever we open this up, the animation notifiers are automatically added exactly where we put them before. Now I'm going to remove retargeted from the name. Okay. Now let's just go ahead and do all the animations. So let's just go ahead and do all the animations. I'm going to go to Combat System, Course Files, Animations. Something to keep in mind before you retarget these animations is that we don't need to retarget jump or locomotion. And the reason why is because whenever we retarget the animation blueprint, all of these animations will be retargeted for us. So any animations that you use in the animation blueprint will automatically be duplicated and retargeted whenever you retarget the animation blueprint. Let's do the dodge. I'm going to show you another way that you can retarget. You can right click on the animation and select retarget animation assets. You can select duplicate and retarget animation assets. And here you can select your IK retargeter, retarget mannequin, and we already have the Quang asset selected. Okay, and we can change the folder path. This will be Quang animations, and we'll just put this one here and we'll call it dot. And select OK and retarget. Okay, let's do the hit reactions. Okay, and make sure you select the montages and not the animation assets, and let's retarget them. Okay, so now we need to retarget all of these animations. We already did the light attack. Let's start with charge attack. Let's go ahead and make sure we right click the montage and let's duplicate and retarget animation assets. Let's create a new folder, charge attack. Okay, let's do equip now. Okay, so we have all of these, and light attack, we don't need jump and locomotion. The last one we need to do is sprint attack. Now we also need the dual sword and great sword, but I'm not going to do that right now. For now, let's just focus on getting the light sword set up. So now that we have all the animations retargeted, let's blueprints, actors, and let's open up the tough sword. Okay, so now let's go ahead and change out all of these animations with the Kwang animations. Okay, once you've finished that, select compile and save. And let's go retarget the animation blueprint. So let's search for the ABP Manny. Okay, so go to the ABP Manny and let's show in folder view. Okay, so let's go ahead and right click, and under retarget animation assets, let's duplicate and retarget the animation blueprint. Let's go ahead and select our retargeter. Let's put this in Paragon Kwang and animations. Okay, let's go ahead and retarget. Okay, select save all. So now this is our animation blueprint retargeted, but we should probably rename that. Call it ABP_Kwang. Okay, so now we've done all the required setup. We should be able to go to the character blueprint and change the character mesh now. So I'm going to select the character mesh. I'm going to select Kwang_GDC. And for the animation blueprint, I'm going to select ABP_Kwang. And there's also another one. This is the Kwang animation blueprint that came with the Kwang, as you can see here. Yeah, this one came with Paragon Kwang. Let's just go ahead and delete this one. So that way, to avoid confusion, we need to remove it first. So I'm going to remove that. And let's go ahead and remove it also from the other character. Let's go to Content, Paragon Kwang, Characters, Heroes, Kwang. And we can delete it from here. Actually, we can just delete this character blueprint. We don't need it at all. Let's add it to the animation test map. We don't need the animation test map. And we don't need the animation blueprint. Just delete all of this. Okay, now if you want to, you can right click on content and select Fix It Redirections and Folder, just to make sure there are no issues, and save all. Okay, so for some reason this animation blueprint wasn't deleted. I don't know why. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Okay, anyway, let's go back to our character blueprint, select the mesh, and let's select our animation blueprint. Select ABP_Kwang. There we go, compile and save. As you may have noticed, his weapon is here. We actually need to remove this weapon, but the weapon is actually part of Kwang's character model. So you might be wondering, how do we remove it? The proper way to remove the weapon from the character model would be to export the model from the engine as an FBX file and import the model into some 3D modeling program and remove it from there. Then you can re-import his model into the engine with the weapon mesh removed. However, we are not going to do that, as in this course we are mainly focused on creating combat mechanics and writing the code. So instead we can simply hide the weapon. But if you want, feel free to download some 3D modeling program and learn how to remove it yourself. But for a simple prototype, just to set up some animations and test some things out, it's actually not required that we remove the weapon. If you were going to use this character for your actual game, then I definitely recommend removing it. But for now, let's just try to find a transparent material. a translucent material. And since we added the Infinity Blade effects, I believe it comes with some translucent materials. Blood Trans 1, so select that, and there we go. And we can still see the outline of the weapon, but if you select like something else, as you can see, we can now no longer see the weapon. So the weapon is completely hidden. And like I said, if you want, you can, export the model and remove it in Blender or something and import it back in, but for me, this is just fine. Okay, and so before we test it out, let's remember that we need to make these sockets here. So let's open up Kwang's character model. And let's go and add these sockets. So the first one that we need to add is the attach socket, which is going to be the sword hip attach socket. And if we want, we can open up the UE5 mannequin skeleton here and use that as a reference. So let's go find the one that we're looking for. It's this one, sword hip attach socket, and that is created on spine 1. This is the skeletal mesh. Let's go to the skeleton. So let's go to the Kwang skeleton here. Let's create the sockets on the skeleton. So you can go to the skeleton by selecting this skeleton icon here. Now let's go to spine 1 and let's add socket. And let's rename it. Let's paste the name in here, and now and we can just do this really quickly by selecting the socket here and just copying all the location values here, pasting them here. The other one that we need to add is right weapon socket. It seems I accidentally removed it from here, so I need to add that back. Okay, so now we need the right weapon socket. And this one's going to be on the right hand. So go ahead and add a socket. We'll call it right weapon socket. And now we can go to the SK mannequin and search for this one, select it, and now let's copy the location values and paste it in the Kwang skeleton. Okay, let's go ahead and save all. And now we can test it out and see how it works. But first, let's go ahead and close all those things out that we no longer need. So as you can see, it works just fine. He is playing the animations. They all work. So attacking works, dodging works, jump, draw and sheath weapon works. Everything works. So now we have successfully changed the character mesh. That brings us to the end of this video. In this video, we have learned how we can use the IK rig and IK retargeter to transfer animations from one character model to another, and we have learned how to change the default character model with a new one. Thanks for watching. In the next video, we are going to set up some mob enemies.